All right. So some people ask, like, how do you plan these like epic national park trips? That's a great question.
Epic.
Where do you even start? Um, this episode is telling you all about where to start and how to plan your own cool trip. First thing is narrowing down what time of year do you want to go. Just Google researching, you can kind of figure out during that month which are the best national parks to get to. And based on that, you can usually get it down to two or three.
Also, based on when you can get the most time off.
Sure.
So,
So whenever you want to go.
well, your vacation time is different than mine.
Okay.
Okay. She doesn't want to say that.
Um so first you got to narrow down the time frame that you're going to go. And then you can get it down to a couple, and then it's just kind of a conversation, like, I don't know, 1 year, 3 years ago, Jared and I were in a desert climate and we went to Death Valley. So last year we didn't want to do desert climate again in the winter. We wanted to mix it up. So we went to Florida National Parks last winter. So this winter we were okay with going back to a desert climate again, and we came to Big Bend National Park. So you just kind of got to narrow it down to which national park fits that time of the year that you're going to travel in, and yeah, what works best for you. Once you've narrowed it down to a national park, I usually start by just go ahead and booking my tickets, our plane tickets. This is assuming that I'm going to say 90% of the time it's more feasible for us in the Midwest to fly to our destinations than it is to drive, because most of those winter destinations that we go to are more west or southwestern. We could drive them easily. We would love to drive them, but that takes a lot more time, and we just don't have the luxury of spending 1 to 2 to 3 days driving each end of the trip. So a lot of times we're going to fly. So once we've narrowed it down to what park we're going to go to, what's the time frame, I go ahead and book the tickets. And I should say that this is probably just exclusive to a flying trip, but a lot of it does apply to driving trips. So you've booked the tickets, you've gotten that out of the way. Now what? Where to go? Typically, it takes a full day to travel from coast to coast. So the first day that we land is always usually an Airbnb day, just because we know we gotta land, we gotta get our bags. We need to hit a grocery store and stock up on our supplies for the week, and we need an outdoor supply store where we're gonna get other things that we need for the trip. So that first day is usually always an travel and Airbnb day, stock up on supplies, and get ready to go.
Yeah.
And the next day we can hit the ground running, get an early start, head out to the park that we're going to, and start our agenda from there. Um, I'll go back to some more logistics in a minute about that travel day and how you pack and how all those things happen. But as far as planning those days in between, where they are your actual park days, the way that I usually start is I usually always order the National Geographic version of that park map. It's fantastic. They publish them for almost every park. They always list hiking trails, normal roads, four-wheel drive roads, improved dirt roads. They list the campsites. Usually the National Geographic park maps are fantastic. So I ordered that to start. And then I might also order, if Falcon Guide makes a hiking guide for that park, I'll order that as well. They're usually like, the map's usually about $12, and then this book is about $15 for that park. And it lists all the hikes in the park. It'll give you elevation, distance, hiking time, difficulty, best season. There's a couple pictures in it that help you kind of decide, like, what do I want to do? So I use both this hiking guide book and TripAdvisor and Google and start researching popular places within that park. And I'll just start a Google spreadsheet or Excel spreadsheet and start plotting out um, every place within the park, what activity it is, whether it's a drive. Sometimes there's scenic drives or hiking, or I don't know, it's just a scenic viewpoint that's going to take 10 minutes. I'll start throwing all this stuff into a spreadsheet. All these places that I'm finding on TripAdvisor, Google, in a book that I think I really want to do. Once I've found all these things that I really want to do, I get out this map that I've ordered and I start plotting them all on this big map. So now we've got all the things I really want to do, where they are in the park, how long they might take based on my research, and I start breaking it down into chunking just into pockets of information. So from there you can start breaking down days, putting maybe like a really long hike with like a scenic viewpoint. I'll put notes like, we really want to be at this place for sunset or sunrise or great picnic spot, or just kind of filling it all in. And from there it's just a jigsaw puzzle of how can I put this awesome campsite with these awesome day activities and planning a whole day together. So in my Excel spreadsheet, I start breaking down day by day and throwing in the activities we can do, where we are going to stay, and just go from there and break it down from like that original list of all the things I've thrown in my spreadsheet of things that I must do, might do. Okay, we can add it if we have the time. So you've got your big map, you've got your hiking guide, you've done your research online, and you've started chunking stuff into days that kind of fit together that are in the same region of the park, because you've plotted them all on the map and kind of seen where they relate to each other. So from there, it's just kind of jigsawing your days and where you're going to stay. And I end up kind of making a master schedule. When we travel, I usually make a giant binder. This is our Big Bend park map, so you're not going to get this in advance, but you're going to know everything in advance because you've done all your research, you know all your things. A lot of these parks that you're going to travel, you're going to have very limited cell service, so you're going to want to print everything you need in advance. I print the individual trail maps that you're going to need. Like here's a trail map, an individual trail map that we're going to need just to survive one day. I plot out how long is it going to take me to get from Big Bend State Park to Big Bend National Park. I'm going to have figured all that stuff out ahead of time, that I'm not going to be worrying about that when I have limited cell service. So I'm going to print a lot of information in advance because I don't want to rely on cell service once I'm gone. So in my binder, I break down every single day. I have every map that you need.
And reservations.
Reservation, confirmations. Yep. There's a canoeing reservation because we went canoeing on this trip. That was something I found in TripAdvisor that people had really recommended doing in Big Bend State Park. TripAdvisor is a huge asset. I highly recommend using TripAdvisor to plan your trips. I personally leave a lot of reviews on TripAdvisor. I think other people like me do as well, where you're going to find hidden, off the beat, gem type places that get great reviews you wouldn't otherwise find. So I highly recommend using TripAdvisor to find your activities that you're going to do. So I have this binder. It breaks down every single day. It has the reservations I need, directions, how do I get there in case I lose reception or whatnot.
Or GPS can't find it. That's another thing we run into.
Yeah. So this binder has absolutely everything I need day by day. So big picture, I talked about the very first day we usually Airbnb because we have a grocery list on these trips. You're not going to have grocery stores, McDonald's, other places like that. So we're used to it. We do peanut butter and jelly for lunch is our kind of standard lunch that we always bring. When we land, we usually know what grocery store we're going to go to that's close to our Airbnb. And we'll pick up fruit, pretzels, bread for peanut butter and jelly, maybe one box of wine, maybe two. It depends on how long you're gone. We have a list ahead of time. We know what we need grocery wise to make it through that week. Our meals, a lot of times we are way off the grid, like we are right now in Big Bend State Park, which is right outside of Big Bend National Park. We're way off the grid. So we know that we need dehydrated meals when we land. So that same day that we land and we're doing grocery shopping, we're hitting an outdoor shop to get fuel because you cannot fly with fuel canisters. But we'll buy fuel and enough dehydrated meals. And I have that all figured out beforehand. How many dinners do we need and how many breakfasts do we need? Because we don't always eat breakfast, but maybe if it's a big hike day, we might like take time to eat a dehydrated breakfast. So I know walking into the outdoor store that we need 2 canisters of fuel and let's say 4 breakfast and 7 dinners each or whatever it might be for that trip. Then by the end of that first day, you're pretty toast because you've traveled all day, you've grocery shopped, you've gotten your car. A lot of these national parks, the roads are iffy. A lot of them will say that it's a 4-wheel drive. We find a lot of variance in that. We personally drive a Land Cruiser at home. A Land Cruiser could handle anything we've seen in a national park. Let's say in a rental sedan, it would be pretty tough. We've gotten lucky our last couple trips and found a Wrangler, and we prefer to spend the extra money just because we feel comfortable and have peace of mind knowing we're probably going to make it where we want to go. These National Park Service maps that I pointed out, these will have those 4-wheel drive roads on it. And some of those great campsites that you read about, hear about, they're going to be on those 4-wheel drive roads. If a National Park Service is calling it 4-wheel drive, I would say approach it as such. Expect the worst, but know that you're probably over prepared for it. So we've gotten pretty lucky with our rentals. We could settle for like a standard SUV if we had to. But like I said, we like spending the extra money to get the Wrangler 4-wheel drive vehicle. As far as packing goes, we typically pack our normal backpacking packs. So I have an Osprey Ariel, I think it's a 75 liter, 65 liter. I pack this with everything I need. And on some of those trips, I know that we might have one day where we need to backpack, or in the worst case scenario, we don't have a site that I need to backpack. I can pack 1 or 2 days of worth of supplies and carry this. The other thing is this is super easy to carry through an airport. And almost all of my supplies are going to fit in my camping, hiking backpack. So that's what I primarily pack. When I plan all my clothes, they all go into individual little packs like this. Each pack gets a fresh shirt, bra, underwear, and socks. So every day of my trip, I get fresh ones of those. But I only bring usually, I only brought 1 pair of shorts on this trip. We're here in winter, and I brought 3 pairs of pants. So for an 11-day trip, I have plenty of pants. I can switch out a pair of pants every couple days and 1 pair of shorts to share. And then I've got 1 bundle of fresh clothing for every day, regardless of whether I get a shower or not. Typically during these trips, we plan on maybe 2 showers.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days is usually our max. We try and find a shower. Yeah.
And I might purposely plan my camping spots when I can get a shower. In our trip, when I'm planning which day we're doing which activities, I might consider that when we can, because I wouldn't want all my showers in the beginning of the trip or all my showers in the end of the trip. I might kind of space those based on what I've read in my reviews of where I can get showers and where I can't. So I go ahead and make these little packs. I secure them with rubber bands. Like I said, it packs real tightly, a bra, an underwear, a socks, and a t-shirt. And that all goes in my overnight hiking backpack. I can go ahead and carry this into the airport if I need to. I carry that on my back. And then I have my day pack. My Osprey, what is this? 24. It's a 24 liter. So these are great to bring on. A lot of times during our trip, we have just a day hike. Like on this trip, our longest hike was 17 miles. So we did enough to pack a couple liters of water, our lunch. We also packed a breakfast. We had a first aid kit in here, cell phones, backup chargers, anything we needed. Our 17-mile hike took us 8 hours, I think.
7
hours. So usually during our trip, we're taking like a good whole day hike a couple times.
We always carry rain gear.
Always carry rain gear. Yep. Day packs are great for that. So when I'm walking through an airport, honestly, I can carry this on my back. And I can carry this on my front. And it makes it pretty easy from getting from baggage check to the gate or whatnot, what you need to do. But when we arrive at the airport, our backpacking pack is going to go in these awesome Samsonite duffels that we just bought on Amazon. They're super cheap. They're a really nice bag. Right now you're going to see it's full of my dirty laundry, but it's all good. So my day pack, when I get to the airport, it fits in this Samsonite luggage pack. And we dropped this off at baggage claim and it's on its way. We'll pick it up at our destination. I keep my day pack with me. In those big duffel bags, we keep our tent. We keep collapsible chairs. We pack a Nalgene water bottle. My most recent thing has been a day pack fanny pack. I love this for my shorter hikes, and I use this almost as a purse right now. So this back pocket, we were in Mexico this trip, so I've got a passport, I've got my credit card, my IDs, all that type of stuff, my cash. I keep all this in a little fanny pack, which, like I said, works as both a purse when I'm traveling through the airport, and it also works on our really short hikes. Like we're only going out for 3 or 4 miles. I might want a little bit of water. I want to make sure I have my cell phone, a backup charger, a little first aid kit. I have everything with me, and it's a nice little pack that's easy to go. I highly recommend this REI day pack. 2 pairs of shoes is plenty. You always want your boots for hiking. They weigh a lot, they're bulky, they're awkward, so I always recommend wearing these through the airport. Makes it so much easier on your life. Just wear these with your travel days, and then I pack either a pair of sandals, or this trip I packed these Speedo water shoes from Costco. I think these were $15. They are amazing. They weigh nothing. They're lighter, much lighter than my Chacos. I wore these for the day when we went canoeing on this trip. They're great when you get to the campfire and you're tired of wearing your boots, your feet are tired, but you just want a pair of shoes. So I love these little stupid Speedo shoes that are cheap, and when they break, I'll just get a new pair. Let's see. We've got dehydrated meals we bought. They weigh nothing. I bring a couple fire starters type things from home. I love, your grocery store will just sell these little tiny fire starters or like mini fire logs. They're really cute. They're easy. They work. I always collect my lint out of the dryer. It's a great fire starter. It weighs nothing. So I just have one Ziploc bag of fire starters to bring with me. And then I have a couple magazines for reading material. So that's more than I need. You bring your Nalgene water bottle, a couple of layers. Right now I've got like a flannel shirt that I'm going to put on when the sun sets and it starts getting cool out. We have these little canteens that we bring for our dehydrated meals. Inside of our canteens are our burner that we attach to the fuel we bought when we stopped that first night and bought fuel. A burner, utensil, and a lighter we all keep in this one little canteen where we can boil our water for our dehydrated meals.
That it?
Are you overwhelmed yet? You shouldn't be.
No.
This is the funnest thing ever.
Well, we're both planners, so we like planning. We plan these trips a couple months in advance. We like having them booked and ready to go, and that's about it, man.
Electronic wise,
Ugh, everything.
we bring a Garmin GPS old school because these things will connect and get you to where you need to go when you don't have a cell signal. So they do work. As long as you update them, they'll have like closest gas, closest food, those types of things that are really important. I highly recommend. I love it. Today we used it to get to the closest gas station because we didn't have a cell signal. We do bring our GPS. We always bring our GoPro, which Jared has hooked here from a previous video. We bring a GPS just for vlogs, those types of things. It's fun so that we can both participate in the video more. I bring a couple portable chargers, so I have this one that recharges in the car, a wireless pack, as well as I have a newer solar charger that I've been using. You've got your 2 cell phones, and then we just pack like one big gallon bag of cords that you need to charge everything. Typically, we spend enough time on the road that we have plenty of time to recharge everything in between destinations in the car. But, yeah. What else? What am I missing?
That's a pretty good start.
Don't be overwhelmed. Start simple. Pick when you're going to go. Figure out where. Book a flight. From there, it's just a jigsaw puzzle. You'll fill in the pieces. If you need help with packing, planning, I'd love to help. I'd love to make this my daytime job, but I can't. So, yeah, we're going to enjoy a fire tonight in Big Bend State Park, outside of Big Bend National Park, in this wonderful, desolate country where we don't have another campsite for miles around, thanks to our planning.